Before Jockey's Ridge became a state park, everyone actually thought it was a park. It was just a big sand dune, and everyone climbed Jockey's Ridge. It was paradise.
Jockey's Ridge State Park, of course, is one of our most beloved parks. We do receive well over 1 million visitors a year, and I believe we're in the top 5 most visited parks in North Carolina. It's thought that the dunes are between 5,000 to 6,000 years old. Essentially over hundreds, if not thousands of years of storm surges, high winds. Every individual grain of sand that you see out here on the dunes ultimately rolled up from the ocean floor onto the island. About 95% of our sand roughly is quartz, and then a biotite, magnetite, and maybe a few other additional minerals makes up the majority of the sand we have here on the dunes. Those main minerals eroded from the Appalachians millions of years ago and accumulated offshore, and it still remains today. We are known as the tallest active dune on the East Coast, meaning that the dune or the park is physically moving. Jockey's is really the last of a much larger dune system that stretched from Jockey's roughly 80 miles north along the coast to False Cape, Virginia. We are the last really of that much larger, older dune system, so that alone makes us extremely unique. We have around 530 acres of park property. Just over 50% or half of the park are open dune areas. But then the other remaining portion are our low-lying vegetated areas, the areas where our wildlife seeks shelter. Around 160 different types of birds can be seen here at some point throughout the year. 38 different amphibian and reptile species. We have around 15 different mammal species. White-tailed deer, coyotes, red fox, gray fox. We recently had sightings of river otter on our northern boundary on the sound side. And actually, just recently, one of our critters that has been observed is the bobcat. We, from my understanding, have never actually had an observation of bobcat in the park, and we were fortunate enough within the past month or so to actually capture one on our wildlife camera. We are the final terminus of the Mountains to Sea Trail. This is segment 18. The Mountains to Sea Trail starts on the North Carolina-Tennessee border at Kleeman's Dome in the Great Smoky Mountains. The Mountains to Sea Trail is comprised of a wide range of natural areas from state parks, greenways, trails, rivers, and road sections. Of course, ends here at Jockey's Ridge. One of the challenges of having a park that is an active dune is that the natural evolution of the dune is ultimately to roll over itself. To kind of put things in perspective, in the 1950s, the ridge was around 150 feet. In the 70s, 80s, it dropped down to maybe around 100 feet. And currently our two westernmost ridges, the two ridges closest to the Roanoke Sound, are around 70 to 75 feet. So that is a bit of an example of showing you how the dunes are shifting, the elevation is dropping, but that is what's naturally meant to occur. The challenge is we have private residence and a town road on our southern boundary. So this is an area where we physically have to keep the park within its own boundaries. You can see different patches of vegetation that ultimately create obstructions. Of course, their strong root systems physically hold the park in place. When folks are out hiking, you can see the remnants of a mini golf course. And that is a great example of an object that is standing the test of time, where shifting sands may collect at the base. Other years, it may become more exposed. One of the amazing things about Jockey's in our location right here in Nags Head is we have thousands of motorists on 158 daily. You can simply pull into the park entrance and enter a completely different world, one that you may have never experienced before.